Welcome back to another episode of Love's Language Podcast. I'm your host, Darius Love, the big boss D Love. I'm back with another one. I got my special guest here, my college teammate, my brother in crime, man. I got Malik Malone. If you want to introduce yourself, man, you're more than welcome.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, like you said, my name is Malik Malone. We were former teammates at in school, and I'm excited to be here, man. I appreciate it.
I appreciate you coming. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Such
Yeah,
short
man.
notice. I
Yes,
told you
sir.
like a day before. I appreciate you coming. So I got a couple questions to ask you. I'm
Hey.
not gonna lie. So obviously we went through a couple things together, and it's easier to talk about something that you've been like went through with the person than to like you never been this, you never experienced this, you don't know what I'm talking about. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
first questions first. What made you even get into basketball like all together? You knew that was coming. You knew. It was
Oh
going-
yeah. Oh yeah. Fact.
So what made you get into it? Like what made you want to pick up a basketball and stick with it?
Honestly, basketball wasn't really my first go round. Like that wasn't my first sport. My first sport was baseball. So I was a big baseball guy, but getting around to actually picking schools and having scholarship opportunities and whatnot, like you get to see who's throwing the money at you. So
Yeah.
you're like, okay, so basketball is it kind of transitioned to being my main sport, but well, basketball's always been like within my family,
Yeah.
within the culture and everything. So I always loved basketball, but it took that transition, that different turn whenever colleges and started coming out.
Nah, for sure. So when you say like colleges, I know you went JUCO first.
Yep.
And a lot of kids these days, they be like, man, I'll just go JUCO. I'm going to just go JUCO. I'm going to just, whatever. If all else fails, I'm going to just go to a junior college. Like, that's a hustle.
Yeah, man.
Junior college damn near tougher than a lot of, I'm not going to say main colleges, but it's the same thing just on a smaller scale.
Definitely.
So you started at Temple. What was that experience like for you? Like a freshman hitting the door. Like what was that like for you?
Well, for me, man, it was a great humbling experience. Honestly, one, Temple was not far from where I'm from, which is Killeen, so it wasn't far. So it wasn't. I didn't necessarily have to go through the transition of like being away from home and having to kind of adapt to the surroundings and whatnot. It was something that I was somewhat familiar with, so I was okay with that part. But as far as being the new kid on the block, the trying to come together and bring a team together and be a leader and kind of showcase my skills.
Yeah,
that was definitely a transition. Like it was the biggest thing for me was going from having somebody who was basically on your tail within my high school coach, like just kind of like getting after you, wanting to have you come in, get extra shots up or, extra work in general. But having somebody like that and then transition into JUCO where, like you said, it's a dog-eat-dog world out there.
Absolutely.
So it's one of those things where it's like if you don't put that extra work in, if you don't have that ambition about your game, yourself, then it'll eventually show. It'll definitely eventually show because there's other dogs out there that, JUCO is nothing but a boiling pot trying to get to the next level still. It's even more of a tougher thing to go through, I feel as if, because everybody there is literally trying to do the same exact thing as you. In high school, you might have guys that know they're not going to go anywhere afterwards, or guys that are just there for the fun of the high school vibes that it gives. But everybody literally is there in JUCO for a reason, to get out.
To get to the next level.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So you're going to see some things that you like, man, I'm not ready for this.
Man, for sure, yeah.
I thought I was, but
yeah.
Okay, so the main thing is it tests if you love basketball or not. Because I'm going to be honest, in high school, I would say, honestly, I loved basketball 85%.
Yeah.
And then 15% was I'm still young. I still want to have fun. Yep. I don't want to listen to certain people. I'm like, man, whatever. Like it's a party this weekend. You know what I'm saying? And then you meet people that if I don't do this, it's it. You know what I'm saying?
Plan B.
I have no plan B. This is plan A. Tomorrow is another plan A. And if I fail this, I'm coming back with the same plan. You know what I'm saying? So how did you feel like you navigated with being in that type of ecosystem, that type of jungle where, and then also, before you answer, everybody's the best player around their area, usually in college. When you get to definitely a freshman year, I would say 9 times out of 10, every player on that team was the best player from their respected area.
Yep.
So now you're not just the best player no more. Like, you got to find a role. If I come in, shit, I used to be a scorer. I used to average 20 at my high school team. Now, we sucked, granted, but
Yeah.
but I was averaging 20 and like 9.
Yeah.
So I come in and I'm like, why can't I take every shot? Like, why every player's not ran for me? Like, and that kind of messed with your psyche a little bit because you're not the star no more. You're not the main attraction. How did that work for you?
Yeah, I mean, that definitely. I went through that same transition, bro. I had to figure out how to, how can I be able to, separate myself, as well as being, a leader, as well as still being, that guy, I guess. How can I be able to do that, but still also compliment my teammates, and still earn their respect, just as like they're earning my respect as well.
Absolutely.
But honestly, if I'm being honest, I really didn't learn it.
What do you mean?
I didn't learn it, bro, in JUCO, bro. Like, it honestly multiplied whenever I got to JUCO. It multiplied, bro, in a bad way, in a negative aspect. So I didn't learn how to truly love the sport and truly love the game. That 85% that you were talking about, that other 15% started to grow, instead of that 85% to grow more to where it was straight ball. Like, it was more so of partying, like I had all the distractions necessary. And like I said, I'm 15 minutes away from the crib, so
I can go home.
I can go home, I can go talk to, shorty, that it was there, or whatever the case may be. Like, I can get bailed out at any moment, like, as far as like being close, And so, and I also, the reason why it also played a part of being down more of the negative role is because I had fellas, I had homeboys and friends that didn't go to college after high school, and they stayed around, and they chose to do whatever they did, whether it be positive or negative.
Right.
Like, they chose to do what they did, and I mean, they're still my friend, and I'm still around them. I never separated that like, hey, I'm going to chase this, I'll come back and see y'all at whenever I come back. But I wasn't able to separate that maturely at the time. So it was tough, man. It was tough being able to go through that transition of, I would say, life at that time. Not even just ball, just life.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So when you stepped into it, did you start realizing the business aspect of college? Because I think that's a lot that people don't tell young kids. Is the business aspect of basketball, period. It's not about being liked. It's not about being, what can you bring to this team?
Yeah, man.
And after that, we'll talk about it later. Look, I need you to do this. I don't care how you feeling today. I'm sorry you're sick.
Yeah. Sorry you're injured a little bit, or you're
I know
hurting.
your ankles hurt a little bit.
Yeah.
I know your, family probably going through what they're going through. Like, how did you navigate between the business aspect of it? Because it could be cutthroat. It really can.
Yeah, it can.
And a lot of coaches at that level, they're getting paid to do this. If they don't win a certain amount of games, I mean, I have a job next year, so I truly don't care about what you're going through, respectfully. You know what I'm saying? So how did you, as a young kid, because that could be challenging. I'm going to be honest. Me personally, I'm just now understanding how to go through that.
Yeah, man. The business part is huge, man. Thankfully, I had basketball mentors that had went to the Division I level, so they went to a high level, and I was able to kind of piggyback off of them and kind of see what they learned, because obviously anywhere that you go within the basketball field, it's going to be a business, know, and there's different levels to it and whatnot. So I actually had somebody that was able to kind of help me navigate through those things. But having those, like, they don't teach you having to go and sign your scholarship. They don't teach you having to go and talk to the coach and see, like, what I can bring to the team, or like what the coach wants, because what we have in our thought process, like you said, like, as far as the like you being the man in high school and whatnot, like, you go there, like, you may be the man in high school and you're great at shooting, but you may have a different aspect to where it's like, okay, well, I recruited you so then you can be able to run the run the offense, like, or run the, like, Like whatever they need you for, whatever
Absolutely.
they need you for.
I want to show you this photo. I want to show you this photo. Because man, you know, look at us, man.
Yeah.
I know in this photo I was telling you, hey, Lone, he told me your mama was ugly. Man. He told me your mama. What you gonna let him talk to you like that?
I believe I said something like, "Look at him," or something like that. You know what I mean? He's not too far from a good batch. So,
I think you was on the verge of going for 30 this game. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah.
I think you was.
It might have been a good game, man. It might have been a good game. It was right there, bro. Like I love this photo because, like, you don't see the tribulations that we had to go through, you know, as far as specifically us being at this this spot, but you see the joy that being on the court gives.
Absolutely.
And so just being on the court, that separation from life, you know, from any type of trials that you're going through, you know, with, like you said earlier, like with family or like even grades or, you know, like anything that you're possibly going through, like it's beautiful to be able to get to, you know, the actual court and kind of silence those things out.
Absolutely.
So that is, man, it's fun to be able to go through those things, you know, be able to be with your brother, you know, and be able to have somebody there. And then also here, you know, where U-Pike is in Pikeville, Kentucky, you know, we're both Texas guys. So to be able to have that camaraderie and, you know, to be able to understand that of each other, it was nice.
It was something. Nice. And like you said, man, honestly, in this photo, not to get sentimental, I had just lost my grandfather. Yeah. I had just came back. Well, this is before I caught COVID, after the first time. Man, I was going through a lot, but I was so happy. I'm like, man, I'm hooping.
Yeah.
Like,
man.
Like, that's tough, and people don't find that. And this is more than basketball. That's why everything I'm asking you is more than just a sport. Like, basketball teaches you life. Like, within all the struggle. And I don't want to glaze this photo and just
that's
like keep staring at it, but like
it shows a lot, bro.
It shows a lot. Like this regular photo shows so much. Like, man, we have been through something that a lot of people can't say they have been through.
Indeed.
You know what I'm saying? And I was still smiling. You're still smiling. Like in this photo, we was going through hell and hot water. Yeah, we was in the snow.
Yeah, literally.
6 states away from our family.
Yeah, man.
Honestly, I had like $3 to my name in this photo.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
Well, like, you know what I'm saying? I probably had a assignment due right after this game.
Oh, definitely had an assignment due. Yeah.
None of that mattered.
Nothing.
None of that mattered in this moment right here. I appreciate that, Alex. I just want to, want to share a little.
Yeah, man. Man, those things, those are the type of things that I feel like people who either have gone through school and gone through college that without being in a sport, and respect to them, because going to college is a tough thing to do in general.
Absolutely.
But I think that's the things that we were able to develop by being in a team, by being in the business of sport, of the basketball. And it's beautiful to be able to see the outcome of, being able to separate that. So now, in hindsight, whenever we're going to work now, or whenever we're going to having to quote unquote lock in with things, we know how to be able to do that. We know how to separate those things. And that's a skill, man, that you have to develop.
Absolutely.
And it came and it comes through sports. It comes through being on a team and stuff. So
it does. I definitely have learned so much, honestly, about myself, about life. And most people see a college sport, or see a sports in general. I need to stop saying college sport, because you could learn something from little league sports.
Indeed.
Middle school, high school, college, pros, and so on.
Yeah.
Semi-pro. You can learn anything from a group of men together with a leader.
Indeed.
You get what I'm saying?
Indeed, yep.
So what I've learned is the steps and the hierarchy. So I take this into my family. I take this into the job world, my friendships, and learning how to deal with other men in a sport. Okay, he's the point guard.
Yep.
He has a certain responsibility.
Roles. Yep.
I'm the shooting guard. You know what I'm saying? I have a certain responsibility on this team, and so forth and so on. Yep. And the coach, at the end of the day, he's the hierarchy. No matter how I feel about him, he's the top guy.
Yep.
He's not getting the spotlight. He's not, the camera is not on him, but we have to listen to him. He's laying down the discipline, the blueprint, and the structure and all of that. And I've learned structure is everywhere you go. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. Yeah.
This person having a role is everywhere you go.
Yep.
Whether you work, hustle, entrepreneur, want to raise kids, raise a family. If you're in a family, you're the coach.
Yep.
The kids are the players. So it's like basketball has just taught me so much.
Yeah.
And that's why I've asked you. And, I've asked you about the business side because I'm sure you've learned business in it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man.
So I want to ask you, you went from Temple Junior College. What was the next step after Temple?
Man, it's crazy. So after Temple Junior College, like I said, I didn't do it well. I didn't learn my lesson. So I had to get knocked over the head again. I had to learn my lesson again. So after junior college, I didn't have the opportunity to go anywhere and play due to the fact of my grades. And so I had to go through another portion of my life of being humble.
Okay.
And so directly after leaving junior college, I missed the opportunity to, obviously, like I said, go to any college. So I had to go back to school. I had to go back to junior college, the same place where I just was, quote unquote, the man, and I was, people were seeing me around campus and had their own perspective of me and whatnot. I had to go back to that same place and get my grades right so that I can be able to go somewhere else.
Oh wow!
And actually, the first semester, I wasn't able to. I didn't sign up at the right time for classes and whatnot. So I went through the direct year after my 2 years of JUCO. I didn't do anything. So that fallout was huge. It was eye opening for me because it showed me like you either can be in life to do what you have to do, or you can be in life to do what you want to do.
Wow.
And that blessingly enough, I had support. I had a mom that was supportive of me, and so as I was going through my downtime, man, I still was, I had to hustle. I had to get on. I had to go to work. I had to do all those things, but I knew that wasn't what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And I knew that I still had some good years of balling in me left. So
yeah,
I'm like, man, I had to move on. So transitioning from there, it took me 2 years outside of junior college. So this is 4 years outside of high school to go and find a school. And at that point, I'm just desperate. And so I'm hitting up all the coaches that were recently recruiting me.
Yeah.
And I eventually got into contact with MacU in Oklahoma City.
Oh,
and it's crazy because I was working and I also was working out, trying to keep my game sharp. So then whenever that opportunity came, I was ready. And literally a week before I went to go on my visit, I broke my hand.
Wow.
And so I broke my hand, and it was a clean break. And I didn't want to go to the hospital and them like rule me out to where I couldn't go or anything like that. So I didn't go to the hospital. I didn't get it checked out. I didn't do any of that. I waited the entire week, and I went down there, a 6-hour drive. I drove myself.
So you still went?
I went.
Wow, what a broke hand.
Broke hand. I had, my whole left hand was broke. Luckily, it wasn't my shooting hand. So, but my whole left hand was broke, and so I drove 6 hours. I had to stop like multiple times because, you don't realize how much you need that other hand until it joint go. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, or if you're trying to like, I couldn't have any type of ice or anything on it. Nothing. I didn't do anything. So. So I literally drove 6 hours down to MacU and got there, and I worked out. I worked out with a broken hand. With a broken hand, man.
Boy, you a soldier.
I didn't tell them. I couldn't tell them, bro, because this was life or death for me, man. This was this is my only choice, man. This is my only chance. So it's like, bro, I'm gonna go down there and I'm gonna make it happen however way I have to do it.
Yeah.
And so you always hear the stories and all the different like overcoming things that you have to go through and whatnot, but I just felt like this was a part of my story. So I was like, man, so I went down there and I worked out, and it was tough, bro. Like the coach was throwing me the pass, and like I said, I didn't tell them.
Yeah.
So
catching the pass
I'm catching the pass. Yeah, I'm trying to catch the pass. I'm kind of trying to just do all right hand things, but eventually, the adrenaline rush came in and whatnot. But hindsight, that's what kind of gave me got me the opportunity to play there, and is because of my dedication towards it.
So they gave you the scholarship?
They gave me a scholarship, yeah.
With the broke hand?
With a broke hand.
I ain't gonna lie, that's tough. With the broke hand.
Broke hand, bro. Like, and I literally, after I went to that visit and I came back, and obviously I had to drive back, broke hand and everything. I drove back and I went to the doctor immediately, bro, and I got plates put in my hand. So it was broke. It was legit.
But the deal was done.
Deal was done. That's it. That's all I needed.
Now I can
That's
go to
all
the
I need.
doctor.
I can go to the doctor. I can get ready. You know what I'm saying? I can go through rehab. But the cool thing about it though, man, and the true, like, I don't know if this is the right word, but the true addictive mindset that you have to have towards the game and the dedication that you have to have towards the game, man. I was still working out with a plate in my hand. Like I had 2 screws in my hand, so then they can be able to hold the bone together while it was rehabbing. So I would go and work out with my guys that we were going to work out, and I'm rebounding for them. I'm doing layup drills with one hand. Like whatever I can do, I'm still running.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So then I can be able to stay in shape because in a month I got to go to a place that I just got a scholarship from.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
you know, nobody cares about your broke hand. So.
Nah. Because if you don't want to do it, I ain't gonna lie, I got another kid that's
just somebody else.
Yeah.
And they may not be better than me, but they're available.
They're available.
Absolutely. They have
Absolutely.
their grades ready. They're healthy. You know, it's available. So, you know, I want it to be available as much as possible.
Man, that's great. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna keep it a beam with you. I don't know if I would have went down there with a broke hand. I ain't gonna lie.
Tough, bro.
I don't know. I know that's hard.
Yeah, it was tough, bro.
I know that's hard. So okay, after MacU, obviously that's when you came to Pikeville, right?
Yeah. I went from I redshirted at MacU my first year, and they had an amazing season, record-breaking season, and it was beautiful to be able to see that. It was wonderful to be able to see the journey of how to be able to, you know, take care of a team, how to see a coach truly lead his team, and how to motivate the other players. Because as we were talking about with coaches, you know, coaches have a huge impact on how players play.
Absolutely.
You know, and if you're a coach, you know, it's really big. And I encourage all coaches out there to, if you truly have the best insight or best position for this player, then one, let that player know. And I also encourage players to do their research, do their homework on the coaches of how they want to be able to, like, how they run their program, you know? Because you can be going into a program where you're thinking that you're the man and you're going to be doing all these things. And it's
you're
like,
not.
You're not, bro.
Yeah.
And it's nothing against you. It's nothing against your game. It's just, this is not what we need.
Yeah.
But, you know, you're not, like we said earlier, you're not taught that, you know?
Yeah.
So, going from MacU, I redshirted the first year. The second year we played, and we had a great season. But that following year, I knew that it was a mutual understanding that I just didn't want to be there anymore. And I was actually born in Kentucky. I was born in Bowling Green, Kentucky.
I remember you telling me that.
Yeah,
so you were born
man.
in Kentucky
I was
and
born
moved
in
to Texas.
Yeah. Like
Wow.
when I was 2. So I mean,
Yeah.
You know, you can claim whatever you want to claim, but a lot of my family. I don't remember it a lot, but a lot of my family was still out there. So I was like, man, I need to go back home. I need to be able to go back to where those side of my family can be able to see, you know, my talent and stuff. So
got you.
I was like, U-Pike came on to the board, and it had. I'm not gonna lie. I saw that arena.
Bro,
Can
I stop you? That's exact. I'm not gonna lie. That was top 3 reasons I committed there too.
Easily, and that was probably number 1. That was probably number 1. Straight up.
It's crazy you say that. I promise you, because I had just I took a gap year right before coming to U-Pike because I had some situations with my scholarship at the JUCO, and I owed like $7,000, and I had to pay that money.
The business side of it too, bro. Yeah.
And I'm 21? No, 20 years old.
$7,000.
$7,000?
What do you want? What?
It's gonna take me 4 years.
What?
I'm not making money right now. I'm a college
want me to work
student.
for you? Like, what do you want me to do?
I could try my hardest, but I can't promise $7,000.
Straight up.
So when I'm not gonna say the coach's name because I don't want to give him too much credit.
Indeed.
But a coach from U-Pike hit me up. And I honestly had like 3 or 4 coaches from colleges hit me up. And I was like, man, I'm going through. And when I say 4 coaches, 4 that was going to give a full ride. Because that's another thing we need to talk about.
Yeah,
Don't sign no 360 deal to where you got to pay for all of this and you still trying out.
Yeah,
you know
what
I'm saying?
Yeah, man.
And then you end up being a manager. Anywho, so
Indeed,
no. So I got 4 rides off of a gap year. And when I seen that arena, I said, lock me in.
Lock me in,
I don't care
man.
if it's in Africa. Lock me in.
Straight
I'm going.
up. Straight up,
I'm
bro.
going.
I'm
going. Because I'm like, man, the pictures are clean. I'm thinking from a young mindset. I'm like, man, these pictures going to look nice on my social media. media.
Yeah, man.
I'm in a whole arena. I can make little TikToks and stuff like that.
Bro, all that, bro. But you think about that, bro. Like, and colleges, they know, man. They know how to be able to how to prowl a young mind, a young man or young lady's mind to where it's like, yo, like these facilities is what's selling me, you know?
Absolutely.
And that's why I said you got to do your homework as the athlete as far as like, yo, push past the facilities. Like,
absolutely.
You know, these facilities are made and they mean something. Don't get me wrong. They definitely mean something because you have to be able to be comfortable where you're going, you know?
Right.
But it's like, you know, look at their professors, look at their the degree plan that you want to be in,
right.
like look and see like what they're successful in besides those things. And then obviously look at the coach, look at who his assistant coaches are, look at, you know, who he's bringing in. Like,
absolutely,
all these different things mean everything. But like you said, for both of us, bro, like literally I saw
didn't care about none of that.
And then I came to the campus, and the campus was a lot like better than the campus was for my previous school. So I was like, man, sign me up. You know what I mean? But without even kind of looking at the other aspects. So
you took a visit to you?
Yeah. Well, no. My visit was me getting there.
Oh, so when you first got there, that was the first time you've ever seen? Me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
I mean, because we're from Texas, bro. So it's not like we're just gonna, you know, randomly
book a flight.
You know what I mean? Exactly. Especially if we're not being recruited. Like I said, I wasn't being recruited by them. I reached out to them. So so they're not gonna be as extensive to be like, yo, like, okay, we'll bring you down here, because you gotta think like that's money out of their budget. That's money out that they have to be able to pay to be able to get a kid over here that we essentially have no idea about. You know, so.
And then if they do it for you, they got to do it for the next 12 that they're trying to recruit.
Exactly.
It makes total sense.
Exactly.
So one of the biggest things I heard you say was, you was talking about know your professors, know their education and their degree plan and all of that good stuff.
Yep.
So I had a high school AAU coach, which I'm going to interview in a latter session or whatever.
Okay.
But he always would tell me, and honestly, when I was younger, I'm not going to say I didn't want to listen. I didn't understand it. Yeah. So when you're young and you're going 100 miles per hour, you're not listening to what you really don't understand, because then I got to sit there and learn what you're talking about. Yeah. And I don't know what you're saying. But he would always say, man, it don't even matter if you go pro. Get your education.
Yeah, man.
You know what I'm saying? Have something to fall back on. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Shout out to Coach Chad from the Houston Top Guns. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, shout out to
that's
him.
that guy right there. But shout out to him. But it made sense, because now after college, at that age, everybody thinks they're going to the league. Let's just be honest. If I play a sport, I don't care if I'm trash or cold, I'm going to the league. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And so after, I would say about sophomore, junior years, when I was like, okay, I may not go to the NBA. Like, I
reality set in.
I may not go to the NBA. Like, I don't think I'm going to the league. Realistically, I'm not saying I wasn't talented, because I feel like I could dunk, shoot, pass, play defense, read a play, no switches, no coverages, no all of that. Yep. And I'm a likable guy, in my opinion. So I think, like, it's just a sense of, like, reality. Okay, so if this does not work, life is not going to hear in 2035, I played college ball. They're going to be like, okay.
What came out of that?
I don't care.
Yeah, like, what can you do for me playing a basketball now?
Like what are you, but that was our whole life. Like, because think about it, people were like, excuse my French, kissing my ass and telling me I'm great and I can walk in grocery stores with my school uniform on, and people were acknowledging me, and it's such like you feel like damn near like a celebrity being a college athlete. You know what I'm saying? Until that stops. And it's like in the real world, nobody's doing you like that no more. Nope. Like, now you have to put in a little work. Now you have to have something. So far, when I walk in jobs now, they look at the degree. They're like, man, at the job I am now, that I'm at now, excuse me, I didn't skip 5 levels just by having a degree. Yeah. And that high school coach was telling me, man, you always want to go somewhere and get your education. And I'm 26 years old, for to be 27. At 15, he was telling me this. I'm like, yeah, whatever. Like, give me the rock. Tell him to set a screen, and I'm gonna shoot the 3 and tell him to get the rebound and pass it back to me. But now I'm like, man, it made total sense. Like, I had to have a backup plan, because if not, I would have. Like, the 4 or 5 years I spent in college, I was gonna have to put that into something else anyway. Yep. So why not get a degree? Yep. Now I got 2. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure you graduated from a junior college. You have 2 degrees now, if not the third one. You went to okay, so that's what I want to ask. Your last school, was that a master's program, a grad program?
Nah, man. I was just like transferring schools, that's something that also that you don't learn, and that transferring from school to school, each school has their own stipulations, and so each school has to, like, you have to have a certain amount of credits to be able to graduate from that school.
Absolutely.
So therefore, I can transfer from one school to another with, let's just 25 credits, and it takes 30 credits to be able to graduate. I can go to the other school, and they'll be like, okay, well, you're gonna have to take at least this amount of credits so then you can be able to graduate from our school.
Yeah.
So I'll mess around and have to take the same class again. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Because it was in the same degree plan, but it's like, yo, like, you don't have enough credits for us to be able to say, okay, you can graduate from our school. Because you can't just come from one school and then come over here, take one class, and then we're going to give you a degree here. Like, you can't go from, like, a small school, go to Harvard, and then Harvard's like, okay, take one class, you're good.
Yeah,
like,
you came
now
here.
you have, so you can't do that. So that's one part that I had to learn and whatnot. So I went to my last school, which is University of Southwest in New Mexico. And so so I went out there, and that was I ended up graduating from that. I ended up just getting, not just, but like I ended up finishing my bachelor's degree there. Okay. So I would have had the opportunity, if I would have taken care of my stuff prior to that, I would have had the opportunity to get a master's program or like a graduate program or something like that. But it was I was finishing out my degree at that point.
Wow.
But a big thing that I wanted to say within that is the one thing that we don't understand as athletes, and in every genre, in every different category, as far as whatever sport is in, you or college in general, even just going to college in general, but it's an investment.
Absolutely.
It's an investment, man. And that part of the business world, the colleges know that. The colleges know, hey, we're investing into these facilities, we're investing into these professors, we're investing into all these different things, so then we can get this business running, because college is a business. And so you as an athlete have to understand, okay, my asset is my skill, my athletic ability, but I need to be able to invest into this education, like you said. And so therefore you have to be able to invest into that time. So you have to go and put the time in for school. You have to go and put the time in for extracurricular stuff, like, even joining a club or something like that at the school, because you're investing into yourself. You have other people there, like all these different things, but it's an investment nonetheless. And that's probably one of the biggest things that I had to realize and learn, is that, like, yo, like, this $30,000 loan, $30,000 scholarship that they just gave you, like, bro, like, somebody else has to pay for that.
Absolutely.
Somebody else paid that. So, and that they look at it as an investment. I just was blessed enough to have the talent to not have to pay for that.
The physical ability. To be able to do that. But nonetheless, it's still an investment. It's still only thing that you got out of it is the fact that you don't have to pay for it. And sometimes that's a disadvantage, because you don't understand the worth of it. You don't understand the worth of a scholarship. You don't understand the worth of a college degree. Like, and we're coming to different times now, to where the college degree and experience is kind of hand in hand with each other now, but it still separates you as far as your stance in accomplishments. Like, whenever you invest into something, just like you said, after high school, if you had invested yourself into business, into entrepreneurship, like, if you invest into anything, it would have took time for you to be able to get to those, those different steps and different levels. Absolutely. And so do the same thing in college. Do the same thing. Invest into yourself. Invest into the people that are around you. So then once you get on later on, we've been to college together. Yeah. Now we're shooting a podcast. Right. And we got something to talk about.
We got something to talk about. Got something to talk about, man.
Absolutely, man. That's powerful, because I'm going to be honest, my first year, I was so close-minded.
Yeah, man.
I only thought college was about I only thought life was about basketball.
Facts.
But I wasn't seeing, to our prior conversation, you said God blesses you and he puts you through tests and he gives you a testimony.
Yeah, man.
And this is your story. Now, it's a reason we went through all of this.
Yeah, bro.
You know what I'm saying? There's a reason your hand was broke. You could have made a decision. I'm finna quit.
Yeah.
Or, man, look, I tried. I went down there and did my tryout and it worked out for me, or you had a decision to like, and then you probably would have lived with regret. Like, man,
Yeah.
I've been mad. Oh, my hand was broke, and now you'd have been the guy that I could have made it, but I broke my hand.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Had every excuse.
Yeah.
Had every excuse in the world to not keep going. You know, and
It's the truth.
And yeah, for sure. And also like I had every excuse to not want to take accountability.
Yeah.
You know, and that's a huge thing nowadays as well, is taking accountability, man. And once you're able to take accountability and take at fault for the things that you did wrong, now you're working towards the steps of improving that.
Right.
Like, and if you don't take that first step of accountability, man, then you can't even reach the steps of trying to grow within that. Like,
absolutely.
You know what I mean? But if we all realize at the end of the day, our flaws are what make us, and our inabilities is what make our abilities. Like, you know, we'll never understand like what we truly have, what God really has for us out in this world, man. We'll just settle for mediocrity and let that be that.
And blame everybody else.
Exactly. Because it's easy to do that.
It's very easy.
It's easy, bro.
And I think, like you said, you know what's crazy? All of this has stemmed from me asking you about sports.
Yeah. Yeah,
you get what I'm saying, though?
Yeah.
And that's where my mindset has shifted. I'm like, man, I've learned so much about myself. I've learned that I'm battle tested. I've learned that I can go to another state where I know no one.
Yep.
I didn't know you 5 years ago.
Straight up.
I could go to a state at 20 years old and know no one. Don't even have my car up here. My mom's 5 states away. Yep. My family and loved ones are 5 states away. I'm up here for a dream, and it may not even work out.
It may not work out.
It may not even work out.
It may not work out, and you may run into some situations where it's like, man, now you got to be a man. Now you got to be a man. Choice. You have no choice but to grow up.
Yeah.
And you know, a lot of us. I can speak for myself, man. My mom kind of babied me a little bit. You know, I went through the threshold of like, you know, my area of where I grew up. You know, that helped grow me up as well. You know, and gave me the bumps and bruises and whatnot. But you know, my mom was still my mother and the motherly nature that she has. But you know, whenever you're out there, you know, on your own, like now you're starting to have to make these decisions. You're starting to have these conversations with these coaches. Like these are grown men. Like these are actual grown men that have already seen these same people, these young men, come through their desk, and they either have to tell them, hey, we can't give you a scholarship next year, or whatever the case may be. But those conversations, those are huge pivotal moments. What those transition into is that interview that you have to have, or that conversation that you have to have with a friend, or with you know, a partner or something like that. Those tough conversations, that's what it built us up to, all from sports.
Absolutely.
All from the love of a game that we were talented enough to continue to play. That's what it taught us. It taught us all these different things, and that is the part that is negated from a lot of people who are outside of sports, because it's like whenever you tell somebody, like I'm a tall guy, you know, I'm a big guy. So whenever you go by and you tell somebody like, yo, I play ball, you know, and it just kind of goes over their head. You know what I mean? It's like what it was. But it's like, did you make it to the NBA or not? Like what? Like, what are we talking about here? Like,
I don't want to hear that.
Are you somebody that I need an autograph from, or
you play for the Pistons, or
like,
no?
Bro? All right, go on about your life. It's like, what are you doing here?
It's a fact.
But it's like they don't really understand, and they don't realize, like, bro, you gained so much from that. Yeah. The athlete and the person on the outside that hasn't gone through that, you gain so much from being in a team, bro. That's huge, bro.
I got a question for you.
Yeah.
How do you feel about coaches that like kind of discourage players from wanting to continue their sport?
Man, I feel as if you should, if anybody has any type of ambition to do anything, then you should gaslight it. You should gaslight it, man, because if they have that ambition, then they'll put the work in. If you have the love for anything that you're doing, you'll be willing to put the work in. You'll be willing to go through the process. You'll be willing to go through the process of a coach denying you of doing that. Okay, cool. One no leads me to the next yes. Absolutely. So therefore, it's like, okay, if you got a coach that's over here that doesn't believe in your dream, that's capping your dream, it's like, okay, cool. Maybe they just don't see what you see. But you have that ambition in you for a reason.
Absolutely.
You know, there's kids that are coming from any parts of the world, and they have dreams, you know, and they have ambitions. And until them having that ambition, until them having that dream, Like nobody else probably did that.
Yeah.
And then like no, obviously everybody around there, everybody or the coach specifically that you're asking, like maybe they capped themselves. Like they didn't think that themselves can be able to move past these different levels that you're going through. So I would say if you have a coach that is hindering you or that is trying to cap you on your dream, don't ever lose focus in what you truly feel as if it's for you.
Absolutely.
Because what's for you, nobody can shut.
Absolutely.
The Lord says what doors is for you, no man can close. So if you have that dream, then take hold of that, cherish that dream, and eventually you'll come to a crossroads to where it's like, okay, for us it was getting a college degree out of the dream.
Right.
Our dream could have been the NBA, but it came to a point to where the crossroads was like, okay, you got a degree out of this.
Absolutely.
And that's precious. But, until then we couldn't let discouragement, stop us.
So if you could tell a kid that's in the 7th grade right now how to go from 7th to 8th to 9th to 10th to 11th, on to college and possibly further, what advice would you give him? Or her, excuse me.
Both of them, the biggest thing that I would give them, and the biggest thing that you can have in life, period, point blank, once you figure this out, you figure life out, is discipline. Once you have discipline, that's the key to anything that you want to do in life. If you have discipline, then you're willing to wake up whenever you don't want to wake up. You're willing to go to the gym whenever you don't want to go to the gym. You're willing to do your homework whenever you don't want to do your homework. Or, all these other different things. And within discipline, man, you're able to take on those growing pains in a different way. You're able to take on the tribulation in a different way. So from a 7th grader to transitioning to 8th grade, you're going from 7th grade to now you're on the top of the hill. You're the big dog on campus.
Yeah.
You're going from 8th grade to freshman year. You're going from the big dog now back to the bottom of the pile. And that's a transition within itself. And respecting the process. Discipline and respecting the process will get you anywhere that you need to be, because there's things that you don't know that you have to learn to get there. You didn't know that you had to learn how to play your role on a team, or you didn't know like all these different things that you had to be able to learn through a process, and through our process of school and college and COVID and everything, like through our process, we learned how to adapt in life. And so therefore now we're at this point in life to where, we can take those same disciplinary skills that we learned and those same respect to the process. And then, we're able to kind of go into life with that.
Man, that's a lot. I ain't gonna lie. That's tough though. It really is, because I feel like I've definitely learned similar characteristics within myself.
Yeah, man.
You know what I'm saying? And we get discouraged a lot. Like, basketball is tricky.
Yeah,
it really is, because I can remember at U-Pike, I could have 20 this game. Now, before I say this, we played on Tuesdays and Saturdays.
Yep.
If I'm correct.
Yeah, you're right.
Tuesdays and Saturdays. On Tuesday, it was so up. I could have a 20-point game. On Saturday, I may get 10 minutes.
Straight up.
And score 6.
Straight up.
And your mind's like your mood is just shot. It's like happy, sad, happy.
Mind you got a finals test, you know what I'm saying, Friday.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, excuse me, or it could have been like the opposite of what you're saying. You could have had a great game Tuesday, anticipating the game on Saturday, or you could have had a terrible game on Tuesday, and then have to have a test that you have to do, like you're going through it with your lady, or you know what I'm saying, like whatever the case may be, like bro, you got to go through those things, and mind you, we went to a school as well that's huge, and that we had to go through dorms.
Yeah,
you had to be in the same places as other young men.
Six other to be exact.
Exactly.
In the snow, on top of a mountain, in the middle of nowhere.
Bro, in the middle of nowhere. I still have videos on my phone, bro, of seeing like the environment, just not wanting to forget, bro. Like, I really had to go. I had to struggle for this. I had to dedicate myself to this. Like, I wanted it to remember that, bro. Like, it was tough, man. It was tough. Like, you come from whatever background you come from, and you know life will have you. Have to go through. Yeah, for sure.
It will humble you for sure. How did you deal with the mental aspect of it? Because we talk about the physical, the education, what you can gain from it during it. And I know you said discipline, but discipline, I think, and mental is kind of in two different lanes. You know what I'm saying? How did you deal with the mental aspect of playing a college sport, having a certain goal for yourself, dealing with certain people every single day, and also battling yourself? And and how did you navigate with the mental side of it? Like, how did you stay sane in it is what I'm asking.
Man, honestly, I don't mind it being as cliche as it is, because he deserves all glory. But man, the big man above, my Lord and Savior, but if he wasn't there, if I didn't have a relationship with him, man, then that's the only thing that got me through. Mentally, that's the only thing that got me through. Because physically, you can force yourself out of bed and go hoop or go do the workouts or whatever. But mentally, man, to be able to go through different roadblocks, that it was only the big man above to keep me sane and to keep me understanding that it was a process, and he was the one that I was able to kind of give all my worries to, give all my troubles to, so I could be able to, still smile in the face of people that didn't deserve any of the situations I was going through. So he was the biggest. He is the biggest and will forever be the biggest that will ever play a part in my life of getting through any type of mental turmoil.
I respect that, man.
Yeah.
I respect that.
Yeah, man.
You got any last comments, concerns, or questions or actions that you want to speak on before we kind of wrap things up?
Man, I don't necessarily have any questions. I just I appreciate you for opening up this opportunity, and this was on a short notice, I encourage anybody out there that, once the opportunity comes to you, like, if you feel as if it's right, and this is obviously right, this is something that we've already established as far as relationship, like, man, do it, go for it, because you never know. This is a wonderful opportunity. I appreciate you. I'm proud of you, for being able to go through your own turmoil and be able to come back to the city that you're from and flourish within it, man. So it says a lot about who you are. It says a lot about your dedication to your life. And so I'm blessed, and I appreciate being able to still have a relationship.
Man, I appreciate that, brother. I ain't gonna lie. I appreciate you coming by and stopping by. You know what I'm saying?
Of course,
I appreciate that,
yes,
man.
Sir. Yes, sir.
Well,
man.
That wraps up another episode. I also want to thank you again for being a special guest on the episode. It's Malik Lone Bucks on Instagram.
Yes,
I used to give him buckets in college. He don't want to mention. He never wanted to mention that part though. I would call an ISO on this man, and he didn't want to guard me. But anywho,
he don't want to talk about the pre before the season rallies that we had.
We used to go at it. That wraps up another episode of Love's Language Podcast, man. I appreciate y'all tuning in. Tune in for the next one.
Peace.